Africa's last colony variety.
I will be president for all Namibian people.
Our country has enough resources to sustain the lives of all Namibians.
Yet so many people are suffering.
Our priority is job creation.
Namibia can only be transformed if we propel game changes, ideas to the fore that will change the socio-economic trajectory of our republic.
Every Namibian deserves to know what is happening.
We represent the forgotten people.
Because the future is yours. The fight is for you.
Is SWAPO losing ground amid these new emerging political parties, especially formed by those who were once members of SWAPO? This is what we are going to look at today. Keep on watching.
Because the future is yours. The fight is for you.
Yes, as I said last time in our first episode, my friends, our viewer, that where I listed all political parties that we find today in our country, Namibia, and of which I said there's so much to look at as those political parties, but I said we reserve it for the what? For the future. Yes, for future episodes. Yes, but in those, in that episode, I mentioned clearly that SWAPO is dominant, political power in our country, Namibia, and it has been in power from 1990 when we got our independence up to today. As I said, today we are going back to 1989, the first election that gave Mr. Samuel, His Excellency Mr. Samuel Safshuna Nujoma to become a president. And I want to mention something here, guys, that we will explore later. You'll understand that in 1989, there was no presidential election. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but there was no presidential election. And you'll ask me, how did His Excellency, Samuel Safshuna Nujoma became, the president of our country? Yes, that is something that we'll explore in another episode. But for now, you must understand that there was an election in 1989, but those elections were parliamentary elections. Do you understand? Those days it was called the Constituent Assembly and all those kind of stuff. Yes, so the Constituent Assembly. Yeah, something like that. So they were held on the 7th and the 11th of November 1989. And these elections were the Constituent Assembly of Namibia, which upon independence in March 1990 became the National Assembly of Namibia. Yes, there were Constituent Assembly before then. So those were the elections that happened. Those were the elections that happened in 1989. So there's no record that there was a presidential election apart from the National Assembly election. So we will be able to put this in real perspective so that we can be able to understand what does this mean to in political language. Yeah, so we are looking at that today. So what happened in that election of 1989, where Sam Nujoma, His Excellency Mr. Samuel Safshuna Nujoma was declared the president of our country, the first president of our country. So you understand with that, there were a number of parties that participated in this election. And the first one is SWAPO. SWAPO from the, they are coming from exile, they came and, participate in this election. Democratic Tunahari Alliance, which is DITA, also participated. United Democratic Front participated. Action Christian Nationals, National Patriotic Front, Federal Convention of Namibia, Namibia National Front, SWAPO, Democrats. I'll talk about, one time I'll talk about this SWAPO Democrat. We have the number of, there was the SWAPO, the SWAPO, the real SWAPO that we know, the SWAPO of Namibia. There was also SWAPO D, which is SWAPO Democrat. So I will dive into that to find out what is it and why did not make so much, why did not gain much, ground in Namibia. We also have Christian Democrat Action for Social Justice. And we also have National Democratic Party. These are the parties who participated. There are almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost 9 parties that participated in this National Assembly of Namibia. But you understand it that when you go to the readings, SWAPO was able to secure 57.33%, giving them 41 seats. How many seats were there by then? I believe there were 72 seats by that time. The National Assembly consisted of 72 seats. So out of those 72 seats, SWAPO was able to get away with 41, you know. So meaning that they won by 57.33%. Do you understand? Yes. Their vote was 384,567. That was their vote by that time, you know. So SWAPO got it, 57. They are about 50, so there's no rerun. As I said, there's no rerun. And DITA, you know, got 28%, 55, you know, 0.55, and they got 21 seat. You know, by those time, you know, DTA was so popular. We'll go into that once more again, you know, just on DITA alone. You know, DTA was so popular. You understand that DTA was operating within the country the time when SWAPO was outside the country. So they were really, they were popular here and then. I remember, you know, when I was still young, they also came to our village and they gave us fat cooks, you know, they showed us, you know, videos about, you know, Semnayoma, what, all those stories. You know, and children were like, okay, so, yes, that's what happened, exactly. So, DTA was operating inside Namibia, so they were there really, you know, trying to, you know, so people knew them, okay, this party who is, okay, fighting inside the country, and the people, I don't know, I think they had no hope that the SWAPO will ever come back. No, so they were just looking at this party which is operating inside the organizing there and they are coming and sympathize with the people. So they were popular those days, and they were able to scoop out of you know, they were able to take 21 chairs out of you know, out of 72. Do you understand? And then you can see the figures, the percentage, you know, of 28.55. So it was a good percentage by that time, you know, although they were not able to beat SWAPO. Yes, and it was followed by, you know, Action Christian Nationals, you know, which what? No, it was United Democratic Front. They got 4 chairs. So you can go like, just like this. So that was the election of, so now, when it comes to electing the president, you know, it was another story. So here we are told that as a result of this, you know, SWAPO election victory, its then President Sam Nujoma was anonymously declared the president of Namibia and was sworn in by the UN Secretary, you know, Perez, you know, in 21 March 1990. You understand? So, as a result of this national, so it means that Mr. Nujoma himself was elected by the majority of the, you know, SWAPO, who won the election in 1989. You know, National Assembly, they elected him, they declared him, you know, since it was a party that won, you know, that election with bigger percentage, more than 50%, you know. So they also, you know, his excellence, you know, Samuel Safishuna Nujoma was, you know, also declared the president of that time. Do you understand? So there was no presidential election. You must understand it. I will come back to that and clear it. And it also, you know, give us a chance to understand why His Excellency, you know, Samuel Safishuna Nujoma was allowed to, you know, to run for the third time. You know, there is a connection between what happened in 1989 and what happened that time when he was, you know, you know, elected for the third time. So that is another topic for another time. So SWAPO secured 50%. That was the starting. We are starting from the 57%, because today we want to monitor SWAPO, whether it's going down, going up, and other, especially the second. You know, we are going to go the second party that are winning and see where are they today. Are they still there or they're out of the game? You know, in competition with SWAPO. So that's what happened. You know, since then Namibia has held both, you know, has held both presidential election and parliamentary election every 5 years. Since then, you know, since 1990, you know, or since from there, they continue to hold, you know, presidential and things like that. Yes, but we must understand that His Excellency Safishuna Nujoma was not elected through presidential election, but the National Assembly, you know, that was dominated by SWAPO by that time, declared him to be the first president of our republic, Namibia. We will explore that one later. Yes, that was 1989. SWAPO is running at 57.33. Yes, and they have 41 chairs in the National Assembly. So they are holding the majority, the 2/3, they are holding the majority. Yes. So now, after 1989, you know, His Excellency Safishuna, you know, Samuel Nujoma, is now, you know, Namibia is there. I think they have now made changes there to the constitution, to the law. They are building things. Now we have elections where people have to register, you know, for voters card and those kind of stuff and elect. Do you understand? Yes. Yeah. So that's what happened. Now it was 1994, after 5 years of his second term. 1994, His Excellency Afshuna Nyoma, he's back into the game. But now, the contenders, you know, the people in the competition for the higher chair is very clear. One of them, the second one, is Misha, you know, Muyongo of Dita. He is there also, you know, he is competing, you know. You have seen also that in the election of 1989, Dita, also his name is not mentioned whether he was a president or whosoever was supposed to be there. I don't know. But what we know, we'll talk about this man also, Mr. Mishek Myungo, you know. 1889, where was he? Do you understand? Who was he by 1989? So we are going to talk about that in the different. But 1989, you can see that Dita really got 28%. You know, whosoever was contending by that time, I don't know. Do you understand? But in 1994, Mr. Myongo, he is there as a Dita, you know, president. He's the one competing with His Excellency, you know, Safshuna Nyoma. You know, these two comrades, you know, they are from far. You know, when we read the history of our struggle, you will not miss them. You know, you will hear that, you know, Mr. Myongo was once a vice president of SWAPO in the struggle, and also whatever has happened there, we don't know. Only those who are in SWAPO, such as His Excellency, you know, Samuel Safshuna Nyoma, can be able to tell the story what has happened. But there's so much history, you know, there and there in our archive, so we don't need to miss it. We need to go there and read it. So, but 1994, Mr. Nyoma is challenged by, you know, Mr. Myongo, do you understand, of Dita, again into presidential election. What happened? We are told that, you know, the general election held in Namibia on 4 and 5 December 1994. There were 2 votes. One for president, the first presidential has ever directly elected. The first time president had directly been elected. For the first time. I said it that 1989 there was no presidential election. That's why they are mentioning in 1994, the second election, the first time a president is directly elected. I told you. Yeah. You know, one for the National Assembly, both elections were won by SWAPO, who won 53 of the 72 seats in the National Assembly. And whose candidates, Samuel Nyoma, won the presidential election. Yes. Again, another victory for SWAPO. But now we gain in the seats in the parliament. Do you understand? Yes. Now they've gained seats in the parliament, almost 12 seats. 12 seats in the parliament, from 41 to 53. That's a big gain. So SWAPO is gaining ground, is building up. They are going up. Yes. Yes, we are going to wait. They are going up. Yes, it's 53. And let me see the percentage. You know, the percentage, you know, is from 57 in 1989 to now we are talking about 76.4. Wow. You can see that Katutura was fired up. Katutura was fired up. Every Namibian, every black Namibian was fired up. Making sure with that, you know, they secure the higher chair to the black president who will look at them and say, my people, of my same blood, of my same color. Yes, they were fired. So SWAPO, you know, they secured 76.34. Yes, a big victory. A big victory. And the Mishek Myongo of Dita, he secured 23. So from 28 to 23, there's a dive there, but there is again for SWAPO. Up for SWAPO. Yes. Mr. Safshuna Nyoma, he won the election 1994. They've gained the seat to 53 from 41, and yes, they are going up. So there is again for SWAPO. SWAPO is still holding the ground. Now, this 94 was the second time that Mr. Nyoma is serving his second second, a constitutional term. Now, 1999. Who is going to be the president of the SWAPO party? SWAPO is looking around. Mr. Safshuna is still, he's still new on the job. He's still famous. His fame goes, he reaches every part of Namibia. And they are looking around, they said, wow. Although the constitution says a president can only serve for, 2 consecutive terms, which is a term of 5 years. Do you understand? Can we make a plan B so that His Excellency Samuel Safshuna Nujoma can come back to power again while we are still organizing ourselves? He still has the majority there, still has the support there. So that's what happened. In 1999, Mr. Nujoma was also, he was a candidate for the SWAPO party to run as the president. Although it was against the constitution, this is something that we would say, it went as much far as we can speak. It went into courts, it went into whatsoever there, and the things like that. But lately, it went on. We are told that 1999, we are told that the election took place on 3rd November to 1 December 1999 by the Electoral Commission of Namibia. Here, we are told that Mr. Samuel Safshuna Nujoma was the party, candidate, and he won by 76%, 85. 76.85. So you can see that he's rising. This is the same term that is running at the president, but you can see that the percentage, is rising. Do you understand? From 57, we went to, to 76, 76.34, in 94, and we are also now 99. It increased. It did not increase much, but there was a difference of 6% that came, or 5% that came on top. So he went up by 85, 76, 85, because the other one, it was 34. So now it's 85 on top, 76.85. The other one was 76.34. So there is a little bit of margin there. That SWAPO, they just won it. And where is our DTA? Oh, by 1919, DTA is nowhere to be seen. It's on the side right we see Mr. the red Katiture Kaure, of DITA. They went down to 9%. Just imagine, from 28 to 24 to 20 what, they're going down. Now they're on the third place. But there comes another, hero, Mr. Benjamin, Olenga. He became the official opposition party in 1999. There we go, with 10%. He won with 10%. But we want us to understand, who is this Ben Olenga and why did he gain and beating DTA? Why? We are told that Mr. Ben Olenga, he was a SWAPO member. He was first a SWAPO member. He served as a minister. He served as an ambassador. By 1998, he left SWAPO and he formed, COD, which is Congress of Democrats. Do you understand? Yes. So he was a SWAPO member. Whatever reason why he left the SWAPO member, being a SWAPO, we do not know, but it's something that we are going to get. We are going to dig until we find it, and why he left SWAPO. But on that very year, SWAPO did not seem to go down. It gained a little bit. I don't know, it's because now the challenger, he was also a SWAPO member, and who was actually born in the north, the home of SWAPO. Hey, my good Lord. Yes. So I don't know, maybe something like that. So we don't know, but we see that Ben Olenga, he really got it. He was he became the official opposition party. While DTA that year done so good in 1989, 1994, is now to the third position. So SWAPO is gaining ground. Is gaining ground now, facing opposition from the member who was from their own member, or a person who quit from them. Do you understand? So I don't know what happened into the electoral. What happened into the electoral? Considering that this man is also born in Oshakati, the home of SWAPO. I don't know what happened there. Because if you don't have support in SWAPO, you cannot be the president of this country. You have to have support there. That is the majority. That's where the majority. Kabango. Yes. So I don't know what happened. There was the shaking there. There was the shaking there. But SWAPO gained a little bit. I don't know where that a little bit came from. They gained a little bit, beating Benny Orenga. Yes, yes, yes. Now, this is our third election. Yes, our third election. And you must understand, as I said, the third election, and it went into court there and there for Mr. Semnayongo. But yes, he was allowed to do so. Also, there was, rumor that he might stand again for the first time. And the people were like, not people, actually, because Semnayongo was most loved by people. So, within the circle, they were like, nah, we also vote for this country. So it happened and he did not run. I don't know. Yes, yes. So let's go to our first election now. Yeah. Yes. Now, as a term of His Excellency, Samuel Safishuna Nujoma is coming to an end. Somewhere there in in 2000s, 2003, 2004. Do you understand? Now there is a debate who is going to, to take over that position. Who is going to take over? There was so much. Woo! But guess what? Hey, the Minister of Urban and Resettlement, His Excellency Figo Puye Pohamba, he was elected by the Congress. Here we are told that 2004 general election. We are talking about the third president, the second but the third election. The first election, yes, not the second, the first election, because His Excellency Safshuna, he took the first, the second, and the third one, and this is the fourth election now that is taking place. But now, yes, Mr. Pohamba is elected as the one by the Congress to be the one who is going to take over. Yes, 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 yes. Now, here it is as follows: say that the general election were held in Namibia on the 15th and 16th of November 2004 to elect the president and the National Assembly. The National Assembly election resulted in a landslide win for SWAPO. SWAPO has won against the fourth election. Come on, guys. Is it serious? Where are the opposition party? You guys, are you sleeping on duty? Where are you? Where are you guys? Where are you? Hey! Yes, SWAPO has won against the fourth election, and yes, we won 55. Do you understand? 55. Now we are coming from, there was a rise in the number of seats. I don't have a record of 99, seats, but I just have the record. I don't know whether there was a shift in the chairs, but what I know that SWAPO kept its majority, in the parliament. So now in 2004, we are told that it was 55. So they are still there. They are gaining their thing. And we also see that there was a rise. There was also a rise in the number of chairs. Now chairs were almost, 78 from 72. In 2004, from 72 to 50 to 78. Yes, chairs. So now SWAPO took 55 out of that. The rest, the opposition party has to share. Yes. With over 75% of the vote. So SWAPO won by 75, of the vote. Just imagine from 50. So there's nothing like rerunning. There's nothing like what. It's a clear word. You understand? His Excellency Efike Punye Pohamba won the presidential election. Following this victory, Pohamba was sworn in as president on the 1st of March 2005 at Independence Stadium in Windhoek. Yes, Mr. Pohamba, it's one of the people that I followed even before he became this humble man. He was just there minding his own business, the business of the government, and all those kind of stuff. His election, to the throne. it was a surprise to all of us and say, oh, so, okay. So I don't know whether it was a good choice or whatever, but Mr. His Excellent, you know, Ifike Punye Pohamba, he also won the Abraham, you know, he was a good president, you know, yeah, he was a good president, you know, yeah, yes, you know, to those, to others, I don't know. Yes, everyone has his own, you know, judgment. So that's what happened. SWAPO, Mr. Ifike Punye Pohamba, he won by 76-44. There is a drop there, you know, from the last number that we just, you know, from 85, you know, 76, you know, 76. We can see that it's still maintaining, but only the numbers. But now we see that there is a drop, you know, on the other number, which is 44. From 85, from 76.85 to 75 to 76.44. Yes, there is a drop, a slight drop there. And Mr. Beno Lenga, he was still the one again who challenged for the Mr. Pohamba, and he came up on 7%, you know, compared to the other election where he was on 10. So he dropped also. He dropped by 3 points, and the other seat there. Yes, Mr. The late Katuture Kaure, who presented DTA by that time, which Democratic Union Alliance, is now down, you know, to the third place where he was in 1919, you know, and then they dropped to, you know, 5%, you know, and also scandal. So it's going down. DTA is going down, you know, it's going down. We'll see. Maybe that's the reason why they changed to, you know, Popular Democratic Movement today, you speak. Yes, headed by His Excellency Mr. Venani. Yes. Yeah. So now, SWAPO is still there, but he's just losing a little bit. And he's challenged by a former, you know, SWAPO member who just formed his party. For whatever political reason, for whatever, I don't know. They just lost a little bit. They are still gaining ground. All these things we'll discuss them. Why these guys were not, you know, what was the problem, why they were not able to make so much changes? Although they went out there and say, yeah, SWAPO did this, SWAPO is doing this, you know what, but still people could not believe them. And they went on and voting, you know, keeping SWAPO. Yes, that was the fourth election, and we are going now to the fifth election, you know, which happened 2009. Yes, Mr. Pohamba is now fighting for his re-election. You know, I remember those days there was some issue there. There was some issue. I remember even His Excellency Pohamba, he said, yes, I'll use my SWAPO power, you know, as the president of SWAPO, you know, to deal with those who are bringing, you know, stories, you know, getting against me. Then it was like, whoa. They were back to square number one. I don't know what happened then. Yes, but in 2009, you know, or 2009, which is 2009. Yes, Mr. Ifike Punye Pohamba, he stood again to be for his second term. So this is what happened now. You know, we must not forget, we are looking whether SWAPO is gaining or losing. He's still holding the ground and all those kind of stuff. This is how many years, you know, we are talking about around 18 years after independence, you know, yeah, somewhere there we are talking about, you know, yes, from 99, whatever, 15 to 18 years of independence, you know, that's where we are talking about. So, but SWAPO is still holding, although it's losing a little bit there, but it's still holding. This is 2009 now, the election of Mr. Pohamba. Now, what happened now? General election were held in Namibia on the 27th and the 28th of November 2009. They were the first generation, they were the first, you know, they were the first election. Yes. So they are saying whether the first election because they don't consider 1989 as presidential election. That's what I was just saying, you know, exactly. That's why they say were the first. So when you count from, you know, 1994 to go there where now the system begin to, yes, you understand to it that that's where they are beginning to count now. Yes. So now, yes. So the voting ended on 28th November. And the official election result released on 4th December and showed that Mr. Ifike Punye Pohamba and his SWAPO party were re-elected each with over 75% of the votes. Imagine from 76 in 2004. Now 5 years has passed. We are in 2009. 1% SWAPO has lost. It has lost somehow, somewhere there. You know, they are still there. Yes, they are still there. I think the final tally is somewhere 76.42. It's still there, but it was 44. Now it's 42. 76.42. Later he won by 76.44. So there is a drop of 2% that has gone to the other side. Do you understand? Yes. Who was the challenger? It was DTA is back in the game by 2009. Mr. Katiture Kaure is back, and he took almost yeah. Oh yeah, now I see. By 19, now I see. By 2009, Mr. Pohamba is facing one of his own, you know, from his own party, SWAPO, who formed the Rally for Democracy and Progress, Mr. Hidipo Amtenya. Yes, he was a SWAPO. He was a SWAPO member also. He was a SWAPO member. Yes, Mr. Hidipo, he was a minister in SWAPO. Yes, but as time goes on, he resigned and formed his own party. The reason unknown. We are going to explore those reasons, you know. Yes, why? And he challenged his own party, his own first-time party. So he got 11%, while SWAPO maintained, we are holding, we are still there. They still had support, you know. Yes, Mr. Amtenya is a shame. Yes. He was the liberation, you know, icon. He was you can mention all those kind of stuff. So he was well known there. So why he could not make grounds, we do not know. But we'll explore those things, you know, as we continue to go there. Yes. So this is what happened there. That Mr. Efikepunye Pohamba, he won the election. He was re-elected with 76.42 from 76.44. So there was a drop there. Maybe that drop went to a new party. Do you understand? Now it's no longer Benulenga, who was the official opposition part of COD. Now, you know, is Mr. Amtenya, Hidipo Amtenya, is the one who is holding, you know, the opposition party. DTA is gone again, is still remaining on the third place. Is you know, beaten by new rising parties of members who dropped from SWAPO. Wow! So SWAPO is still holding the ground. And why? Is something that we will explore later. Yes, Mr. Pohamba, he won. But there is something that you must understand about the election of 2009. That there was a delay to call election. There was a delay to call the result of the election. And you know, in Africa, not only in Africa, also in America, I saw it in other things. It was like, why? The opposition party were now boiling, and they were saying, what's happening? SWAPO is leaking the election. SWAPO is losing. Why? So these are the things that normally happens. Wherever, when the election, they were not called in the time that people were expecting it. They will say somebody is leaking the election. So that was the court. That was the case. And you know, later on there was so much. Yes. Because of that delay, there was a challenge in the court. Yes. But before I go to that challenge and read what was there, let me read a little bit thing here. Here we are told that the SWAPO, the ruling SWAPO party, set a goal of winning that year, 2009. SWAPO set a goal of winning all 72 seats in the National Assembly and controlling the National Assembly until the second coming of Jesus. That was their aim. To win all 72 seats until Jesus comes. Yes. At the SWAPO Party Congress in November 2007, a current president, Ifikepunye Pohamba, was re-elected of SWAPO, and also, received the party's nomination for president in 2009. SWAPO ended up winning 54 seats, 1 seat lost from the said National Assembly. Yes. That year, SWAPO lost a seat also. They were now around 54. You remember they were 55? They now lost a seat. But the whole game, it was to win all 72, seats until Jesus come. But it just shows that politics is tough in our country. You can have your own goal as much as you want, but every time something will rise, a challenge will always rise. Yes, and the men who were there by that time, Mr. Hedipo Mtenya, he made it with that Swapo will never have all the seats in the parliament. He challenged them and he got away, with few of them also. Yes, he got away with few of them. That one we must understand. That was the aim of Swapo, winning all the seats. And in another episode, I'm going to tell you what it means for Swapo having, not only for Swapo, every political party having the majority in the National Assembly. I'm going to explore to you. I'm going to share with you what does that supposed to mean to you. It's very, very important that we know. Yes, Swapo won by 76, 71. It was in the court. Yes, it was in the court. We announced on 4 December instead of, and the longest delay between voting and the publication of the result of Namibia election. The election of Commission of Namibia blamed the delay on a recent amendment to the Electoral Commission, Electoral Act, which had caused the logical nightmare. They never experienced before. Yes, there were a lot of things to do, but ECNE was criticized by political parties, civil societies, general public for the delay. Following the publication of the result 8 and 13, the opposition party stated that they did not accept the result and were instructing their lawyer to challenge in a court for contravening the electoral law of the country. Electoral observers have pronounced the polls to be free and fair, but recommended that the ECN speed up the counting process and free up access to the media for all parties. So there was a delay, and the opposition party filed suspecting there is a foul play there and there and there. Yes. But at the end of the day, the court could not do much better, to give them a win. Yes. So that was the result, and by that time, Swapo is still having ground. And Mwinga is out of the scene. Mr. Hibam Kenya is the second official opposition party. There we go. Yes, Swapo is still holding ground, guys. Hey, yes. Now let's go to the election of from 2009 we are jumping to 2014. The election of 2014, the rising of His Excellency, the current president of Namibia, Mr. Hage Godly. It was very interesting one. But before I go in detail, let me share with you what happened. Considering that His Excellency is I think he's a Damara Nama, if I'm not mistaken, is from the Damara, the Damara Nama. Seeing there. And all this time from independence, we were just ruled by, Oshuambo speaking president. By 2014, the rise of, KK, Mr. Kadenambo, he started to advocate that Swapo must choose a non-Oshuambo, person as a candidate for president. And I watched these things myself. I like watching the parliament, and I've seen it rolling, down there on TV. It was bringing so much, it was a heated debate, and every person was like, I think Mr. KK was from, the late Mr. KK was from, he's a Herero. Yes. But he was advocating, I don't know whether he was advocating for himself, or he was advocating for another, I don't know which tribe was he advocating, but he said it's much better if they choose a non-Oshuambo person. So, non-Oshuambo person, considering him, he's a Herero, if I'm not mistaken, and Mr. Hage, we have the Damaras within the Swapo party, Damaras, and we have people from the Privi, whatever, Zambezi region today. So I don't know what he was trying to advocate, or he has somebody in his mind, or he had the mind of, Mr. Hage. I really don't know. But we are told that Kadenambo advocated that Swapo choose a non-Oshuambo candidate, As the two first was Wambo, Sem and Bohamba were from the Ovambo people. Others advocated the election of a woman. People indicated that the candidate would be chosen democratically in 2012 party election. SWAPO was viewed as a, a clear favorite, going into the election, yes. SWAPO was viewed as a clear favorite. I don't know what it is supposed to. Yes, I think, in terms of maybe choice of people, they favor SWAPO or whatever that yes. They have a record, they are winning election. 2014, yes, that was the story. So, we were given His Excellent Mr. Hage Gengop. He as a candidate for the Might SWAPO. So now, there was something interesting that we must understand this. Let me read it carefully. Let me read it here. 2014, general election were held in Namibia on 28 November 2014. Also early voting took place in foreign polling station for seagoing panel on 14 November. The election were the first on African continent to use electronic voting. That's what I wanted to understand. 2014 was the first time that we are using the electronic voting. AV machine. Yes. What happened? All this time you have to write your thing, the paper, and the what, and all those kind of stuff. But now we are using electronic machine from India. I don't know if India was using them, So that's what happened. Yes, we were using 20. That was the first time during the time of Mr. Hagen. A total of 9 candidates ran for presidential. 16 political parties contested the National Assembly. Hage Gengop, the ruling party SWAPO, won the presidential election with 87 of the votes. And the SWAPO also won the National Assembly, taking 80% of the votes. Imagine, Mr. Hage. For the first time we see, SWAPO is shifting from the 50s, 70s, and 17, the third president of our country. And then, Mr. Hage, he went up to 87. You understand, in another episode of mine, I want to zoom around why His Excellency Mr. Hage was able to go to 87. I watched I watched his campaign. I watched his a lot of Namibians felt like this is the man that we've been waiting for. He said that people cannot eat peace. It is time to deal with certain things that will benefit the people. And everyone was like, this is our man. We have to support him. That's why Mr. Hage was able to rise up to 87. Yes. He really, his manifesto caught my attention myself. It was for the first time I also felt like I want to go and vote. I observed this man. Yes. That was, my good Lord. Yes. He won. That was 2001. He won. You understand? And here we are taught with that, looking at the result, SWAPO got at 6.73, which is rounded up to 7%. Mr. Hage, he got or SWAPO in that. And the DTA also came there again, powerful, bam! Beating Hedipo Amtenya. Hedipo Amtenya, who was, in the last term of Mr. Bohamba, is now down to safety. And Mr. Benani, by that time, maybe people they didn't like Mr. Kaura. So, Mr. Benani, a young man, vibrant young man, he won the hearts of many, supporters of DTA. He was the official opposition party with 4%. You can just see 86 to, there's so much difference. So, SWAPO is gaining, he gain power. He gained power. By that time, we are told that the seats in the parliament were almost 104. And the SWAPO got 77 seats out of 4. The rest was taken by the other things such as Demotai Tunihare, which got how many? 5, and the Rally for Democrats by Dipo Amtenya got 3. That's what happened. Boom! Gone. That is 2014. Let's now go to 2019. 2019 was the most interesting, with the rise of Mr. Itula, another SWAPO member who just quit from SWAPO and decided to form a party and run for president as an independent candidate. Not in the flag of any party. Patriotic, change, independent candidate. patriotic for change. Yes, this was very interesting. You know, Mr. Itula himself is a Oswango speaking person. He's known in the north. You know, although he was not popular in other regions, he was not popular. For me myself, I didn't know him. You know, but when he came, I observed his rallies in Katutura everywhere. I said, no, this man is talking our language. He's talking our suffering. He's talking our things. So what? Yes. Yes, yes, we did our voting. That was nice. So now, this is the second thing, you know, of the sitting president, Mr. Hage Geingob. The election, 2019. Now, let's see what they are writing here. They say the general election were held in Namibia on 27 November 27 November 2019. Ballots were cast using electronic machine. For the second time in the presence of Mr. Hage. Do you understand? We are using electronic voting machine. A total of 11 candidates ran for president. The 15th political party contended a national, 15 political parties contested the National Assembly election. Hage Geingob of SWAPO was re-elected to the president. Also, this vote share was reduced from 87 in 2014 to 56. Oh, what a loss. There were so much losses there, guys. Losses. Those are losses. Yes. Very losses. Very losses. Yes. From 87 to 56, they are lowest vote share of presidential election in the country's history. SWAPO also retained their majority in the National Assembly, but lost the two-thirds, majority, supermajority. They lost there. But they were still there, they were still having the majority, but not as they had before, and the things like that. So that's what we are told. Mr. Hage, we can see from the percentage from 87 to what happened. I don't know whether it was the issue of corruption, that just rose within, the early time when we almost went into his second, this corruption, officiality, what, up to today, they just boom, corruption. I don't know whether it's what played the role, or it was the rise of the independent candidate who took away chunk of thing, and who also, went there, or, telling people about how corrupt is corruption, and what was in the, so people, they were like, maybe this is the man of our, so I don't know what it really brought with the people. It was in rising SWAPO, former SWAPO member who rose into, rising to the president and the independent candidate, or it was the issue of corruption, a combination of them, maybe has brought such, all these losses. I don't know. Yes. Here, we are also told that SWAPO was viewed as a clear favorite going into, 2019 election. Also, the rise of new parties, such as the Landless People's Movement of Mr. Swatboy, another member of SWAPO who left SWAPO and formed another party. He was also now in the opposition running against SWAPO, and he's telling us a story from there. These people are like, okay, this is the what? Yo, my goodness. So it was predicted to cause a split in the vote. In 2014, the ruling SWAPO party announced a gender, system where half of SWAPO seats in parliament would be held by women. So SWAPO, because of these challenges now, emerging challenges, new parties, coming from the members who left the SWAPO party, they are now beginning to re-strategize. How are we going to win the majority? So now they want to use women, so women, they want to, all those kind of stuff, something like that. The party also embraced that the party also embraced what it called a zebra system, whereby the minister, if a minister was a woman, the deputy minister would be a man, vice versa. Due to there being more male SWAPO PM than female. There was a lot of, there was a lot of male, they wanted to come to, female part, so that, female, they are these people who, wherever they will go, they will always gain sympathy. People, they don't take them seriously, but at the end, they say, let's just vote for them. So that's what the strategy that SWAPO wanted to use by that time, so that they can win a lot of people, If they say, oh, there are women now, let's vote for women. Also, they will, and something like that. Yes, that's what they wanted to do. So now, SWAPO put forward plans to expand parliament to remove the risk of male, losing their seat as a result of gender equality policy. Do you understand? So they were trying to look at those things, to counter the forces, new parties that were coming in there that were saying, no, in SWAPO there's no gender equality, in SWAPO there's whatsoever. So they were trying to make these changes so that they can keep the party. This change, raising the number of seats from 78 to 10, was enacted in 2014. Also, it was officially framed as allowing more wider representation of the population. Do you understand? That's why the reasoning of Mr. Hage, that no, Namibia is growing, the population is growing, why can't we expand also? So it was to accommodate, a lot women in the. Also you understand that the opposition party had the object of removing SWAPO two-thirds majority in the National Assembly. That was their aim. So SWAPO had this, these guys are gaining against us. So now soon we are losing our majority, and when they lose our majority, we will not, no policies, nothing that will move on. So now the head is now they were trying to strategize so that they can win more majority. The Namibian Economic Freedom Fighter and the Republican Party, both without realistic chance in the previous election, withdrew their, the opposition were now making a coalition, man, to beat SWAPO and to increase their popularity in the parliament and all those kind of stuff. So there was the these parties are trying to come together, but finally they could not glue together politics. They could not glue together. What happened there? Yes. What happened? Yes. So for the first time, the independent candidate Pedronine Itula ran for president, and the other Esther, of the National Party, of the National Unity Democratic Organization, NUDO, was the female president in the candidate, she was the first female presidential candidate in Namibia. So these are some of the things, and then Itula come the other side. And so now there was this, it raised so much high stake, People, you can see politics at best and say, Mr. Itula, what is used by imperialists, is used by what? Yeah, yes. SWAPO was really felt a challenge. They felt a challenge really. Yes. But that was 2019 where these things happened, and we are told that SWAPO, lost somewhere there. Do you understand? From 87%, Mr. Hage, he went to almost 56. Do you understand? So the stake was high, and Mr. Penduleni Itula, he could not be in there because by that time he didn't have a party. He could not be the official opposition party. Although he really did very well in the presidential, going to 29%. Beating. The movement that was there by that time. Yes. So Popular Democratic Movement, after it has changed from the game also they begin to pick up. They begin to the Landless People's Movement, the new party got something. I believe that if Mr. Stula was having a registered political party by that time, he could be the second, he could be the official opposition party as we speak, considering that he gained much, he went up to 29, almost 30% in his presidential, run, so meaning that he could have gained a lot of, there. But you can see that in terms of, councillors, he got from the south and all those kind of stuff, and the Landless People's Movement is also doing well in the south. So you can see that this election here, you can see although SWAPO did not lose the presidentials, you understand, but you can see the reduction in the number of seats that they had compared to 2009, the first term of Mr. Hage Gengo to 2019. Yes, you can see that there was a fall here. So this fall, I don't know whether it was, as I said earlier, I don't know it was caused by the new rising, parties that came there, and mainly formed by, former SWAPO ministers, supporters, something like that. I don't know whether it was still corruption issues that just rose in the Al Jazeera documentary, and things continue to not go into a good direction with SWAPO as we speak today. So those parties, this is what happened, exactly. So SWAPO had 63 seats compared to, to the one they had in the first term of the president of Mr. Hage. So here we are told that after that election, also Mr. Itula took up a court challenge. Also, he challenged the use of electronic voting machines. Yes, it was in the court, It was in the courts there, it was in the courts, 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 and it was there. Do you understand? So you understand to it that first then the election were done, you know, you have to, there was a paper trail and all those kind of stuff, you know, you have to have a paper, but this time, Kama Charles no more. Why he did it, I don't know. There's no need for the paper because the voting machine is here. You know, while the, I really don't know, really, I'll check on it and see what did happen. But that's what happened. So the court ruled in February 2020 that the enactment or the change of rule was unconstitutional because it violated the separation of power. The court, however, declined to set aside the election because that's what Mr. Itula wanted to. They must set aside the election because they used a process that is not constitutional. Do you understand? Yes, that was unconstitutional in other ways, but the court failed. Why they failed to set aside, maybe it is the cost of the election or it's all politics, who knows? But we'll look into those things as time goes on. So there were no indication, the devices were tampered with. So, and this has attracted some controversy. So most of the opposition party, they were really, up to today as we speak, to understand, and you'll understand the tweet that no one trusts the AVM, you know, those electronic voting machines. So it was once in the court and, you know, it will hold the case, but now the remedy to that, the court was reluctant to set aside the election and go for paperwork. Yes. So, guys, this is the end of our presentation for today. You know, is SWAPO gaining ground or losing ground amidst new rising parties? You know, and mainly formed by people who are deserting SWAPO and form new other parties. And also considering that, you know, the economical situation of our country is, you know, it has brought a lot of stories against SWAPO. It has, you know, this, I saw the president recently was saying, you know, people are talking against SWAPO, you know, the media and all those kind of stuff. Yes, because a lot is happening. So I don't know if these are some of the things that has costed so much SWAPO or it's something else. I have no idea. But yes, what I wanted to share with you that SWAPO is going up and going down there, but they are still maintaining what we have seen in all these things. Although there's a variation in the percentage of, you know, in every election and the seats and also what we have noticed is that SWAPO still maintains, you know, their power. They are still in power. No one has now, no opposition party has beaten them, you know, out of that power. They are still there. So we don't know what's going to happen, you know, in future. You know, if SWAPO is still going to continue grabbing to that power or they will lose it. You know, especially the election of 2024, we don't know what's going to happen there. Seeing that Itula has already started campaigning and the other political parties are also coming, you know, in advance, you know. Yes, we don't know how much is going to gain or whether it's going to shift or it's going to go down. Like other political, you know, opposition political parties that were there before, such as DTA, you can see that they were there after 1989, but they were going down until they are in third place, again coming there, you know, things like that. We don't know if that's what's going to happen to Mr. Itula or will gain more going upward. We don't know what's going to happen to SWAPO, if they'll go up or going downward. This is something that we have to, you know, to watch and wait. So, but for now, please like, comment, let's share. Is SWAPO gaining ground or losing ground? You know, and what is it that SWAPO has to do to keep that, you know? Last time I heard also they were saying, yeah, until SWAPO, until Jesus comes, SWAPO will be in power, but we do not know whether that will be true or not. Since they said it also in other, you know, during the time of the final year of Mr. Bohamba, that they wanted to take all 72 seats, but it never happened. You know, they dropped. They went to 60 something, you know, instead of taking 72, they said. So those were just words, you know, God's still in charge, and he's the one, he replaced, you know, he puts you in power and takes you in power. You know, he dethroned kings, you know. So thank you for watching. Catch me in the next episode where we'll be looking into another angle of these political things that are happening in our country. So we are going to look at the manifesto of SWAPO of 1989. What is it that they promised the Namibian people? Is it still the same thing? Did they achieve what they promised? Or what is happening in there and there?
Yet so many people
Thank
are
you for
suffering.
Our priority is job creation.
Namibia can only be transformed if we propel game changes ideas to the fore that will change the socio-economic trajectory of our republic.
Every Namibian deserves to know what is happening.
We represent the forgotten people.
Because the future is yours. The fight is